All right, everyone. I have, I think, at this point, a long track record of being extremely pro-gun. Like beyond, like the GOP pretends to be pro-gun, and they're like, "Yeah, we're pro-gun. We don't want additional anti-Second Amendment legislation. We're pro-gun. All we want is a silencer ban. We're pro-gun, but yeah, extended magazines are scary. We're pro-gun, but not for assault rifles. You know, stupid shit like that. Anti-Second Amendment bunch of freaks is what they really are. I'm a lot more pro-gun." And I'm also in definite favor of Castledoctrine. I think it should be nationwide. Like here, there's a duty to retreat in Vermont. It should be nationwide, stand your ground, and Castledoctrine, no exceptions. It's a clear-cut issue of the Second Amendment. People have the right to defend themselves. It doesn't matter if they're out in public. There are some limitations. Like, I mean, if you take out high-caliber weapon and fire into a crowd of people, negligent discharge if you don't hit anyone, and if you do, that could be definitely a problem. You can't just... So someone tried to steal your purse, so you opened fire with your 44 into a crowded street in Manhattan, not going to fly. That being said, especially on your own property, you have an inalienable right, in my opinion, the founder's opinion too, thankfully, to defend yourself by any means necessary. You shouldn't have to worry about, hey, someone's breaking into my house. But if I defend myself, I might get found guilty of murder because of some technicality. I accidentally didn't kill the person, and so they complained about mistreatment or something. There have been cases like this, and it's fucking dumb as hell. That being said, there's a current case down in Texas, Dallas, with Amber Guyger, I think her name is. I'm probably mispronouncing that, so fucking sue me. She's claiming Castledoctrine in a murder case against her, and I think manslaughter is also being considered by the jury. The judge is allowing them to consider a lesser charge, which does technically make sense, but I'll get into it. The case is a little complicated. What happened is this. She was, I guess, tired or drunk or something. She's a former cop there. She went into the wrong apartment. She thought it was her apartment, but she was on the wrong floor. She was in the apartment directly above hers or something. A normal person probably checks to make sure that it's actually theirs. It's like, okay, so you don't lock your apartment when you're gone because obviously you entered this one, it was unlocked. That's a little bit odd to me. You didn't check the number. That's a little bit odd to me. I don't care if you were tired. What happened is she went into what she thought was her apartment, allegedly. And there was a man there, a black dude, because it's his apartment. She shot him. She thought that she was being attacked, that her home was being invaded. And she's using the Castledoctrine defense. She's saying, look, I thought it was my apartment. Had it been my apartment, I'm allowed to defend myself. I had no reason to believe this wasn't my apartment at the time under the circumstances, and so I shot the dude. You know, I'm really, really sorry about it, but, you know, I thought it was Castledoctrine. I was standing my ground. I was defending myself. But Castledoctrine only applies in your property. So that's like me saying, look, I was really, really tired after a long day of YouTubing. I go out, I'd go for a walk, I come back, I forgot which house was mine. I walked into the wrong house and killed the owner, but I thought it was my house. By the way, this could be a problem in the suburbs because all those houses fucking look the same anyway. Why has there never been a problem in one of those situations? Well, yeah, I thought it was 403, but it was actually 402, and, you know, I killed his dog, but I thought I stand my ground, Castledoctrine, thought it was my property. How can you claim Castledoctrine when you're not in your castle? So in other words, if I walk onto someone else's property, but I'm delusional enough to think that it's mine, I can kill them and I can claim that as self-defense? That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. This is a clear-cut case, at least, of manslaughter. Assuming that I accept that she was zonked out and genuinely confused and didn't know. But if you're that zonked out, isn't discharging a weapon under that circumstance itself at the very least gross negligence of a murderous type? Isn't that a big fucking problem? Here's the thing. I support Castledoctrine completely. If somebody comes onto your property without your permission and aggresses towards you in any way, you should be able to gun them down. Absolutely. I don't even care if they're already fleeing. No, fuck that shit. You should be able to shoot them in the back, blow their goddamn head off. Who fucking cares? They come onto your property to start shit, they should be laid waste to. Yes, it's a wonderful world where people are allowed to have actual private property. By the way, property taxes should not exist either. At least for your primary residence. Business, that's fine. It's a different story. Second homes and shit. Why don't we just increase property taxes on them? Up to a certain value, your primary residence should be property tax free. That way you can actually genuinely own it. There's another way to make an actual castle instead of a rental. But if it's on your property, absolutely, you should be able to defend yourself. But you can't do that on someone else's property. That's asinine. How does this make any sense? And there are some people I've seen, like people on the right, they're like, ha ha ha, this is a good thing. Hail gun rights. This has nothing to do with self-defense or gun rights. She went into somebody else's home and killed them. It's not castle doctrine. The fact that the judge is even allowing that to be said to the jury, to say, well, if you believe so, if you believe that applies, you can find her not guilty of murder. You can also consider the lesser charge of manslaughter. I can sort of understand the manslaughter. Because if you're not certain, my thing is this. We know she killed a dude. That's beyond, any question. She admits it openly. She's saying that, well, I was an accident. I thought I was in the, my home and stuff. I can understand instructing the jury that they can seek manslaughter instead of, first degree or second degree murder or whatever they're going for. I can understand that. But you have to accept her argument. The thing is, the burden of proof lies on the state to prove that she wasn't in a lesser capacity. That she actually knew, like she had some vendetta against the dude. As far as I know, there's been no proof or even speculation offered that she had a thing against this dude and would willfully seek him out to kill him. I could understand the manslaughter charge, but I couldn't understand letting her go entirely without repercussion under the auspices of castle doctrine. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. The fact that the judge would even allow that in this case it boggles my mind. Even in a state like Texas, which is very much pro stand your ground, they've been loosening restrictions on everything. I think a couple years ago they said, well, now you can have swords and stuff, and I think now you can carry around other classes of weapons that you couldn't before too, right? That was less than a month ago, I think. I can't remember exactly what classes of weapons they were talking about, but there was some, I think, brass knuckles, if I remember correctly. They're allowed there too. So basically anything you can physically carry in Texas, it's A-okay for the most part. It's a very libertarian ethos, but that ends when you enter another person's property. She strictly violated the NAP. She walks into someone else's home and kills him. Castle doctrine would have, I think, kicked in if he had killed her. Oh, what's this crazy bitch doing in my house? Boom, boom. That would have been castle doctrine. He was approached in his own home by somebody. He didn't give him permission to enter. There's a way she's armed at the time. Yeah, absolutely, castle doctrine. Totally self-defense. But she can't claim that. You can't say, oh, well, I accidentally walked into the wrong apartment. Dude, they all look alike anyway. Check the number. And if you're so tired, if you are so out of it, you're walking into other people's apartments, maybe you're the one with the problem. Maybe the law itself isn't the problem. The other person, the victim, the one you killed isn't the problem. Maybe you're the issue. Maybe you should go to jail for a while and cool your heels. Even if it's a manslaughter charge. Give her the manslaughter charge. Give her a lesser sentence, a light-ish sentence. Make sure that she's punished for what she claims was an accident. That's no excuse. And give her that. You should do that. Absolutely. But she should go to jail. Absolutely. Come on. She killed a man in his own apartment. And all the tears in the world aren't going to bring him back. Almost a little Freudian slip there. He's black. It's become almost like a racial issue thing, too. People saying, well, she killed him because he was black. Or the judge is allowing this because he was black. No, I think they would if he was white, too, because Texas is, again, very, 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 very Second Amendment friendly. But it's not castle doctrine. It wasn't her castle. It was his castle. This is like you walk into someone else's home and kill them and then say, well, I thought it was self-defense. I thought it was my house. Well, then you're delusional. Did they do a toxicology? Was she drunk or on drugs? I can't even remember. I don't remember reading anything about that. But if there's no animus involved, yeah, give her the lesser charge of manslaughter. But you can't possibly find her not guilty. She killed a man in cold blood. Now you've got to decide, was it justifiable in any way, shape, or form whether she did? I don't think it's justified to kill somebody in their own house. I think that's beyond the pale. That's about all. Peace out.